So I don't even know where to start because honestly, I'm still kind of in shock. My wife, Lisa, and I have been married for 5 years. We met in college and everything seemed perfect until it was. We had our fights, sure, but I always thought deep down it was just typical relationship stuff. She was the one I could trust, or so I believed. We took our anniversary trip last weekend and I thought finally we were in a good place. That was until I found out she's been cheating on me with her boss, Mark, during this entire time. It all started when I noticed the little things. Lisa's phone started acting weird. She'd hide it whenever I was around, even more than usual. She'd leave it face down, and if I asked who she was texting, she'd brush it off with a fake laugh, say something like, "Just a friend from work, don't be jealous." That should have been my first red flag, but I brushed it off because I trusted her. Still, I knew something was off. She was more secretive, more bitchy when I asked questions, and she started making excuses for staying late at work or going out with her colleagues. I didn't think much of it at first. People do have work dinners, and I figured she was just trying to keep things normal. But then during our trip, I started noticing little inconsistencies. She kept getting calls at odd hours, and if I tried to look at her phone, she'd get defensive. One night, I caught her slipping her phone into her purse when she thought I wasn't looking. I felt that pit in my stomach. Something was definitely wrong, and I was right. That's when I found it. I was going through her messages just out of curiosity, trying to clear my head after a long day, and I stumbled across the messages between her and Mark. They were talking about meeting up, about finishing what they started, and how she couldn't wait to see him again. I couldn't believe what I was reading. I read through everything, the secret messages, the plans, the little flirtatious comments. They'd been hiding this from me for months. I felt like I'd been hit by a truck. It didn't even feel real at first. I mean, how could she lie so blatantly? She's bitchy, manipulative, always acting like she's the victim. She's always accusing me of things I didn't do, gaslighting me about my feelings. But this was different. This was real. She was cheating on me with her boss, who's married himself, by the way. I was furious, hurt, but mostly just stunned. I didn't even sleep that night. I stayed up, staring at the messages, replaying everything, trying to make sense of it. Part of me wanted to confront her immediately, but I knew it wouldn't be that simple. I had to think, I had to plan, because Lisa has always been good at twisting things around, making herself the victim, and I wasn't about to fall for her lies again. The next morning, I woke up with a racing heart, knowing I couldn't keep this bottled up anymore. I decided I had to face her directly. But how do you confront someone you trusted so blindly? How do you even start? I still remember sitting on the edge of the bed, holding her phone, trembling a little, trying to figure out what I'd say. I didn't want to jump to conclusions, but the evidence was staring me right in the face. I knew I had to confront her, no matter how much I dreaded what would come next. The betrayal was so deep, so disgusting, I couldn't even find the words at first. All I could think about was how I'd given her everything, my trust, my love, and she threw it all away for some stupid affair with her boss. So I decided I couldn't wait any longer. I waited until she was in the shower, pretending to be oblivious, then took her phone out of her purse and sat down to compose myself. My hands were trembling, but I forced myself to stay calm. I scanned through her messages again, making sure I wasn't missing anything, and then I found the most recent one, a direct invitation to meet Mark again. That was it. I had all the proof I needed. When she got out of the shower, I was already sitting on the bed, her phone in my hand. She looked at me with that bitchy little smirk she always had when she thought she was the smartest person in the room. "What are you doing?" she asked, her voice dripping with that fake sweetness that I'd come to hate. Without hesitation, I put the phone down on the bed and looked her straight in the eyes. "I know about you and Mark. I know you've been sleeping with him for months. How long has this been going on? During our anniversary trip, while I thought everything was perfect." For a moment, she just stared at me, eyes narrowing, trying to come up with some bullshit excuse. But I could see the panic hiding behind her bitchy facade. She scoffed, crossing her arms, trying to act like she didn't care. "Oh, please. You're overreacting. It's just sex. It doesn't mean anything. You're jealous because I don't give you enough attention." That made me furious. Sex, that's all it was. After 5 years of marriage, all those promises, all those nights I stayed up waiting for you to come home, and what? You're out screwing your boss. Do you even hear yourself right now? She rolled her eyes and threw her head back, acting like I was just some insecure loser. "You're so dramatic, you think I'm some kind of monster. Honestly, I don't even know why I married you in the first place. You're so boring. So clingy, Mark's the one who knows how to have real fun." I was shaking with rage, but I kept my voice steady. "You think this is fun for me? Do you have any idea what you've done? You've been lying to me, sneaking behind my back, probably laughing at me with your little secret boyfriend. Do you even care how much you've hurt me?" Her face twisted into a sneer. "Hurt you, please. You act like I owe you something. We've been barely getting along lately, no passion, no excitement. Mark's the one who actually makes me feel alive. You're just a boring, possessive guy who doesn't know how to please a woman anymore." That cut deep. I felt like I'd been punched in the stomach. The betrayal wasn't just about the sex. It was about everything she'd lied about, everything she'd taken for granted. I couldn't believe I married someone so selfish, so manipulative. I told her she could leave if she wanted, that I never wanted to see her again, but she just laughed and rolled her eyes, acting like I was the one overreacting. She said I was insecure, that I was just jealous, because she'd found someone who actually appreciated her. But what really killed me was the way she looked at me, so bitchy, so condescending, like I was the problem. I was trying to hold it together, but inside I was boiling. I knew I wouldn't be able to stay under the same roof with her after that. I told her to pack her things and get out. I didn't want her around me anymore. I needed space to breathe, to think. I needed her gone. The shock was settling in, but beneath it was a cold, hard resolve. I wasn't going to let her get away with this. She was going to regret ever crossing that line. I watched her pack her designer bags, her bitchy smirk never leaving her face. She kept telling me I was overreacting, that she loved me, but I saw through her lies. I knew she was just trying to manipulate her way out of it. That's when it hit me, this wasn't just about the affair. It was about who she really was, and I was done being blind to it. After she finally left the house, I sat alone in the living room, feeling like I'd been hit with a wrecking ball. My mind was racing, trying to process how I missed all the signs, how I was so blind to her real nature. Lisa always had a way of acting like she was the victim, playing the innocent girl while secretly plotting her next move. I kept asking myself how I didn't see it coming, how I could have been so stupid to trust her completely. She's been lying to me for months, that bitch, and I didn't even realize it until it was too late. The worst part. The betrayal cut so deep because I genuinely thought we had something solid. We went on that trip thinking we were reconnecting, rebuilding what we'd lost. And she was just out screwing her boss behind my back. It's not just the affair. It's the fact that she lied to my face every time I asked her how her day was, every time I tried to be romantic or make plans. She acted like everything was fine, but behind my back she was with him. That realization made me feel so stupid, so betrayed. How could I have been so naive? For days after she left, I kept replaying everything. The little signs, her secretive glances, the way she'd get defensive when I asked about her late nights. I started going through her stuff, looking for anything else I might have missed. I found more messages, screenshots of flirtatious texts, plans for their next meetups, even receipts from hotels they booked while I was supposed to be cluelessly loving her. Seeing all that, knowing she'd been lying and sneaking around, made my blood boil. I guess I started to get angry more than just hurt. Anger turned into bitterness. I kept thinking about how she always acted like she was the victim, how she lied to everyone, how she was manipulative and bitchy. Honestly, I never liked her boss, Mark, but now I hated him even more for being the catalyst of this whole mess. The guy was married too, and he still screwed her over for months. That makes me feel sick, how she could do this to her own marriage, to me. I kept telling myself I should just forget about her, move on, but part of me still couldn't. I kept wondering if I'd ever trust again, if I'd ever feel okay after all this. I started talking to a few friends about it, people I trust. I needed someone to tell me it wasn't just my fault, that Lisa was the one who ruined everything. Some told me to cut her out completely, walk away, and never look back. Others said maybe I should try to forgive her, but honestly, right now, I don't know if I could even look her in the eye again. The pain was too fresh, and the betrayal cut too deep. I kept thinking about all the memories we shared, how she used to be so bitchy and manipulative, but I never thought she'd do something like this. It's strange, part of me still feels lost, like I'm in some weird fog. I keep asking myself if I should try to fix things, confront her again, or just accept that this is the end of our marriage. Every time I think about her lying there, sneaking around with Mark, I get this overwhelming sense of disgust. How could she be so callous? How could she pretend to be the loving wife, the one I trusted, while behind my back she was screwing her boss? I know I need to move forward. I can't keep living in this mess. But it's hard, really hard. The betrayal hurts so much that I keep wondering if I'll ever feel normal again. I've lost my trust in her completely, and honestly, I don't even want to see her anymore. I want to erase her from my mind and start over, but I know that won't be easy. I keep telling myself I'll get over this, that I'll find some peace, but right now, I just feel empty. All I know is, I'll never forget how she looked at me with that bitchy sneer after she left, like I was the crazy one for catching her. That's the part that stings the most. The days that followed were a blur of anger, sadness, and a strange sense of clarity I hadn't felt before. I'd never been one for melodrama, but this betrayal hit me harder than I ever expected. I kept replaying everything. Her lies, her manipulations, the way she'd always act like she was the victim when she was the one cheating. It's like a bad movie I couldn't turn off. I started to realize just how much she'd been controlling the narrative, making me doubt myself, gaslighting me into thinking I was overreacting. That bitchiness, the way she'd always scoff at my concerns, suddenly it all made sense. I knew I couldn't just sit around feeling sorry for myself. I had to do something. I decided to dig deeper to find out exactly how long she'd been lying, what else she'd hidden. I went through her social media accounts, her emails, even her work messages. What I found was worse than I imagined. She'd been exchanging flirty texts with Mark almost every day, plans to meet up, things they'd never told me about. She'd been lying to my face about everything, acting like we were happy when she was out screwing her boss. At first, I felt numb, like I was just going through the motions. But then rage took over. I wanted her to feel what I was feeling, betrayed, humiliated, angry. I started thinking about how to get back at her, how to make her see that she couldn't get away with this. I wasn't about to be the fool who got played. I wanted her to realize what she lost, me, her marriage, her dignity. I wasn't going to let her walk all over me anymore. I began planning my next move. I knew I couldn't confront her again without solid proof, so I kept gathering everything. Screenshots, messages, receipts. I even contacted a private investigator I found online, someone who specializes in infidelity. I paid him to dig up more dirt to confirm what I already suspected. Turns out, she and Mark had been sneaking around even more than I thought. Hotel stays, secret meetings, the whole 9 yards. I felt a strange sense of relief that I finally had concrete evidence, but also a deep, burning anger. The more I uncovered, the clearer it became that she wasn't just a cheating wife. She was a manipulative, bitchy, selfish woman who was hell-bent on destroying what we had. Every message, every secret plan just confirmed what I'd suspected, that she'd been planning this betrayal for months behind my back. I kept asking myself how I missed all the signs, how I was so blind to her true nature. But honestly, I knew deep down I probably didn't want to see it. I was too comfortable, too trusting. Now I was paying the price. I also started to realize that I needed to protect myself emotionally. I couldn't keep living in this limbo, torn between hope and despair. I told myself I had to make a decision, either fight for the marriage and try to fix it, or walk away for good. I wasn't the type to stay in a toxic relationship, but a part of me still wanted to understand why she did this. What made her so bitchy, so manipulative that she could cheat and lie like this? I knew I deserved better, but it still hurt like hell to accept that she was gone, that my wife was a liar and a cheat. So I sat down one night, took a deep breath, and decided I was done waiting around. I sent her a message, telling her I knew everything, that I had the proof, and that I never wanted to see her again unless she was willing to be honest. I told her to leave my house and never come back. I felt a strange mix of relief and heartbreak. Part of me wanted her to come back, to somehow fix it all, but I knew that was wishful thinking. She had crossed a line I never thought she would, and I had to accept it. I had to start healing, even if it felt impossible right now. That night I lay awake trying to process everything. I felt betrayed, angry, but also a strange sense of clarity. I had been with her for so long and I loved her once, but now I saw her for who she truly was, a manipulative, bitchy woman who was willing to throw everything away for some affair. I don't know what the future holds, but I do know this: I won't let her destroy me. I will move on, stronger, wiser, and maybe someday I'll find real happiness again. The days after she left felt like a slow descent into something unfamiliar. I was numb, angry, and oddly relieved all at once. The house was silent without her bitchy comments and manipulative sneers. I kept thinking about everything: the lies, the sneaking around, her pretending to be the perfect wife. I had trusted her for so long, and she had used that trust to stab me in the back. I kept replaying the moment I found the messages, the way she had tried to lie her way out of it, her dismissive attitude, like I was just some insecure idiot. That bitchiness of hers has always been part of her charm, but now it just made me realize how toxic she was. I started to see clearly that I couldn't keep pretending everything was fine. I couldn't go back to that fragile, naive version of myself who believed every word she said. I knew I had to own what happened, accept that our marriage was over, and face whatever was next. The betrayal had shattered the foundation I thought we built. It's like I was living in a nightmare I couldn't wake up from, but deep down, I knew I had to start rebuilding myself, my life, piece by piece. I reached out to some friends I trust, people who can give me honest advice. I told them everything: the discovery, her lies, the affair, how I felt. Some told me to forget her, to cut her out completely and never look back. Others said maybe I should consider forgiveness, but I just couldn't bring myself to do that right now. Not after all the shit she pulled. I mean, how do you forgive someone who lied so blatantly, who betrayed you for months? I was furious at her, yes, but I was also sad. Sad that the woman I loved turned out to be a manipulative, bitchy cheat. It's strange. I keep feeling this huge mix of emotions. One moment I'm angry, the next I'm just exhausted. I've realized that trust, once broken so badly, is almost impossible to repair. And honestly, I don't want to try. I don't want to rebuild something that was built on lies and betrayal. I want to move on, but it's so damn hard. Every time I see something that reminds me of her, her perfume, her favorite coffee cup, even her stupid bitchy smirk, it stings, like a fresh wound that won't heal. I've been thinking about what I'll do next. I know I can't stay in this house forever, living in that toxic space she left behind. I've started looking for a new place, somewhere I can breathe again, somewhere I can be free of her manipulative presence. I've also started seeing a counselor. I need help sorting through these feelings, figuring out how to trust again, how to not let this betrayal define me. Honestly, I don't even know if I'll ever fully trust a woman again, but I do know I want to be happy, truly happy, not just pretending everything's okay. Part of me still wonders if I made the right decision to kick her out. Maybe I should have tried to fix things, fought harder to save the marriage. But then I remember her bitchy attitude, how she dismissed my feelings, her manipulations, and all the lies. I think about how much I deserved honesty and respect, and how she threw that all away for some stupid affair. That's when I realize I'm better off without her toxicity poisoning my life. So now I'm just taking it day by day, trying to focus on myself, on healing, on moving forward. I know I'll get through this. Maybe someday I'll look back and see it as a terrible lesson, but for now, it hurts like hell. I want to tell everyone who's going through something similar: trust your gut. Don't ignore the signs, no matter how much you love someone. Because once that trust is broken, it's almost impossible to fix, and sometimes the only way to save yourself is to walk away. Looking back now, I realize just how much this experience changed me. I used to be someone who believed in forever, in loyalty, in the idea that marriage was about trust and mutual respect. But she shattered all that in one fell swoop. The betrayal hurt so badly because I had given her my heart, my trust, my everything, and she had used it to betray me with her bitchy attitude, manipulations, and that goddamn affair with her boss. In the end, I learned a few hard lessons. First, trust is fragile, so fragile that it can be broken with just a few sneaky messages and a lie. Second, some people are just inherently selfish and manipulative, and no matter how much you want to believe in them, they'll always find a way to hurt you. Lastly, I learned that sometimes walking away is the bravest thing you can do. Staying and trying to fix something that's already broken only delays the inevitable pain. I won't lie, it hurts like hell. The betrayal still echoes in my mind every day, especially those little things she used to say and do to manipulate me into thinking everything was fine. But I also know I'm stronger now. I've started rebuilding my life, not just physically, but emotionally and mentally. I'm focusing on myself, on healing those wounds, and on rediscovering who I am outside of her. To anyone out there going through some version of this, trust me, I get it. It's one of the worst feelings in the world to realize the person you loved and trusted was just pretending all along. But eventually, the pain fades. Not completely, but enough. And you learn to stand on your own, to rebuild your confidence, to realize your worth. No one deserves to be lied to, manipulated, or discarded like trash. I've come to accept that I'll probably never fully understand why she did it. In her bitchy, manipulative way, she always had to be the victim. But I've also accepted that that's her problem, not mine. I don't need her to validate my worth anymore. What I need now is peace, and I'm finally starting to find it. So here I am, telling my story to get it all out. Maybe it will help someone else see the warning signs before it's too late. Or maybe it will just serve as a reminder that even in the darkest moments, there's always a chance to rebuild, to get stronger, and to find happiness again. I'm taking that chance now, and honestly, it feels damn good to finally be free from her bitchy manipulations and the betrayal that nearly destroyed me. I'm not perfect, but I'm alive, and that's enough for now.